Peace. This is Watch for Wise Words Media back at y'all for another round. And fight fans, we were treated to another great card, another great night of boxing, thanks to His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh and Riyadh Season. Another great card. And this one was stacked, man. As advertised, one of the best boxing cards you'll ever come across. And it delivered. We had a major upset. One of the biggest stories of the night was heavyweight Martin Bukele, who pulled a stunning upset over the American-born favorite Jared Anderson. Big Baby Anderson went into this fight stepping up. This was a step-up fight in competition. We saw why Bukele was a highly avoided fighter, and we saw it early in the fight, because he clipped Anderson in the first round, and that right there, when he knocked Anderson down, it was like, okay, all right, this is gonna be a problem. How we're gonna learn about Big Baby resiliency, as hard as that, because he made some comments when he was sitting down. I believe it was Roy Jones, and he made a comment that didn't sit well. Made it seem like this thing ain't really in here. So we're gonna learn a lot about his character. He fought, but man, he was just outclassed, man. Martin Bukele is a new star in the heavyweight division. He is a monster, and he said it, man. Thanks to His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, he said, now I'm able to I was avoided, now I could get the fights that nobody was gonna give me. I could get these fights now. So, this is just another shining example of why Riyadh Season has been a blessing for boxing. But then we had a performance between Big Baby Miller and Andy Ruiz. I mean, it was that fight I thought would be a lot better. It was okay. It seemed like Ruiz taking those 2 years off, it got to him. In the beginning, he was showing those lightning quick hands. He was one of the fastest heavyweights of this generation. But when you take that much time off the ring, it shows, and it's hard to get that ring rust off, especially when you're in real time with somebody like Big Baby. Big Baby Miller was he was too big. He was 300 plus pounds. He was picking his shots. He wasn't as aggressive as he should have been, but you start to see that Andy Ruiz started to steam. He started to lose a little steam. He did hurt his hand. He did show his hand. He had a fracture in his hand, but he was pretty much boxing with one hand at one point. But it is hard to take 2 years off and come back. It's not gonna be the same. We seen Buddy McGirt box with one hand as well, having an injury, I think a shoulder injury mid-fight. But there's a way in the movement and the use of the one hand. We didn't really see that with Ruiz, because it seemed like Ruiz, that conditioning factored in. So, but it was good to see him in the ring again. Hopefully we could get some more fights from him. And then we had a boxing masterclass by the young champion, the young now 140-pound champion, El Rayo Valenzuela. Jose Valenzuela came in there with a game plan, which was to keep Pitbull at bay. To keep a leash on the Pitbull, pretty much. And he kept that leash, aka the jab, in Pitbull's face all night. And it was excellent. I mean, you want to know what boxing is? The sweet science, right? It's called science for a reason. It's the sweet science, because it's so pretty when it's effective. And what you saw, you want to see the sweet science on perfect display, El Rayo Valenzuela versus Pitbull. He had the game plan. He kept that jab in Pitbull's face, that jab in his face, and then when Pitbull came in, he would lunge, boom, he'll catch him with an uppercut, or boom, catch him with a hook, and pivot. He kept pivoting. Beautiful footwork, beautiful range, controlling of range in the ring. He boxed a masterclass against Pitbull, completely shutting down Pitbull. This was a great performance, and congratulations to Rayo Valenzuela, who now is a prime play at that 140 division that can give us fights like El Rayo versus Devin Haney, or El Rayo versus Teofimo Lopez, El Rayo versus Matias. So there's different fights that could be made, or Paro, because he beat Matias. So there's different fights that could be made now, and El Rayo's definitely a player in that division now because he is a champion. And last but definitely not least, the main event. I told y'all, man. I made multiple videos before the fight. This is going to be Terence Crawford's hardest fight, his toughest opponent, because I've seen Madrimov fight before. He's not an easy opponent, and you saw a lot of that herky-jerky, unorthodox movement was throwing off Crawford a little bit. He was finding success with his straight right to Crawford, and it was a challenging fight for Crawford. You saw Crawford fighting on his back foot a lot because of Madrimov's size and his unorthodox, style of fighting. That was, it made Crawford a little more cautious than you're used to seeing Crawford. But at the end of the day, this was Crawford stepping up to a new weight class. So we also have to factor that in. He was the much smaller guy against Madrimov. And he had to, this is him feeling out the new weight class. This is him feeling out like, okay, can I take these punches? How effective are my punches against a bigger person? So he had to, it was more of an experiment, in the first few rounds. So then you saw, but Crawford fighting in his back foot, he's just a tremendous talent, tremendous, special, generational, all-time great talent. And he was still able to put together combination punches that scored and looked pretty. And it gave him the edge, the slight edge. It was a tough fight, but it's like Ric Flair said, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And Madrimov didn't do enough to overthrow Terence Crawford. So Crawford gets the narrow decision. It was a great fight, and once again, a great pay-per-view by Riyadh Season. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh continues to make boxing great again. So that's all I got for now. I'm Wash for Wazwords Media. Peace.